Every Wednesday morning at this time, we check in with friends in Ottawa who own and operate the Blacklocks Reporter. It is a subscription-based media outlet owned and operated by its reporters. Blacklocks.ca is the site I encourage you to visit because you'll really appreciate and enjoy the information you get there. Well, enjoyment is in the eye or ear of the beholder, but it's important stuff. And the managing editor there at the Blacklocks Reporter, Tom Korski, he joins us to make us mad every Wednesday morning at this time.
Morning.
Good morning, Tom. Let's start with the CEO of Brookfield, if we can, because he's been appearing before a Commons committee. What have we been learning from him?
Well, the Commons Ethics Committee has been keenly interested in the Prime Minister's personal fortune, which we know is extensive. His stock holdings run to 16 pages. He's got the biggest stock portfolio of any Prime Minister we've ever had. It's in a blind trust, air quotes, blind trust, but MPs have pointed out that certainly Mark Carney knew what he put into the blind trust scant weeks ago after becoming Liberal Party leader. And now the executive for Brookfield said the company owns shares or outright has ownership of some 2,000 companies. And so that when the portfolio increases, obviously, Mr. Carney's personal fortune increases. Mike, Conservative and Bloc Québécois MPs have been hot on this. There's a lot of discomfort for members of the government caucus who've called it a witch hunt and why are you knocking down a success story? But the fact remains that the Prime Minister cannot turn a wheel without hitting a conflict of interest. An example, they have a keen focus on modular nuclear reactors for use in especially Arctic communities that are still using diesel generators under their climate program. Problem, those small modular nuclear reactors do not exist commercially. They have never been proven. And the company in Canada that got a federal subsidy from the Department of Industry, Westinghouse, to build one, you'll never guess who's a shareholder in Westinghouse. Prime Minister of Canada. This is the point that MPs are making. This is easily solved, Mike. He can just sell his stocks, and he refuses to.
The personal fortune continues to grow.
Exactly. This is the point that is made. So there was an MP, for instance, Conservative MP Jacques Gordy, he sat there reading in the budget, and Ethics Committee said to the Brookfield executive, do you have investments in modular housing? Oh, considerably. Do you have any investments in railways? So cargo rail, we sure do. Clean energy, they have a huge clean energy portfolio that, by the way, is in a trust fund, an investment fund that's headquartered in Bermuda. What about data storage? Oh, we're big in data storage. This is all budget material. And MPs have said, you're going to have to sell the stock. Mike, can we speak candidly? The Prime Minister's going to have to sell the stock. Everybody knows it. I don't know why he's dragging this out and making it as painful as possible.
Agree completely. And then this is all over with. And by the way, you've got all those millions then when you sell the stock, and I think you'll be just fine, won't you?
Oh, he's a multimillionaire. We know through United States U.S. Security Exchange filings, where they are much more forthcoming than in Canada, that his stock options, just from Brookfield alone, run from 6 to 9 million Canadian. And we know that because he held the stock options up until January 16th. That's not ancient history. That's when he left the chairmanship of the company to seek the Liberal Party leadership. The man's a multimillionaire, and we're all capitalists, Mike. No one begrudges him. No one's a Bolshevik. That's good for you. But you got a full-time job now, and it's not chair of Brookfield.
Indeed, it is not. Okay, I want to talk about the Canada Infrastructure Bank if we can, Tom, because if the Canada Infrastructure Bank is self-sustaining, why are we giving it more taxpayer money?
That's a really good question. MPs have asked that exactly question, and it is sort of an enigma. The bank is a taxpayer-owned bank. They act like they're a private bank, but they're not, and Parliament set them up. This would be 8 years ago with $35 billion. And the deal was they're going to finance public works and get private investment. So this was supposed to be a job creation and a private investment deal. How did it work out? Well, the Commons Transport Committee, including Liberal members, once recommended the cabinet privatize it. They haven't spent half the endowment they got from Parliament. And you're right, their CEO, oh, by the way, $679,000 a year pays the CEO. That's the life, Mike. You should have been a banker, an infrastructure banker. $679,000 a year. He testified we're self-financing as of last year. He told this to the Senate National Finance Committee, and yet there's a line item in the omnibus budget bill that we are increasing at taxpayers' charge the equity in the infrastructure bank to $45 billion, a 29% increase. So apparently they're not self-sustaining. Apparently they're taxpayer-sustained.
Maybe they just have a different definition of self-sustaining, Tom.
It's the same, only different. Exactly.
We talk a lot generally about so-called corporate welfare, and under the microscope, most recently, of course, investments in automotive, battery plants, etc. Here in southwestern Ontario, there's the big deal with Stellantis. And I'm just wondering, of that $15 billion subsidy, how much of the fine print we read?
MPs have been after that for months, Mike, and the Department of Industry yesterday finally told Commons Committee, Government Operations Committee, drop dead. We're not going to show you the fine print. And there was a rather unnerving disclosure. Forgive me. The Deputy Minister of Industry said the minister, Melanie Joly, herself had not read the contract. Mike, you talk to anybody who runs anything, a farm, a small business, a ranch, a union local, a minor hockey club. What do they do all day but solve problems? Breakfast, lunch, and supper. They're just born that way, the ones who are good at it. And we have cabinet ministers whose job is to be accountable in the Commons question period every day the House is in session, accountable to the taxpayers. And you have ministers, and this is in particular, I don't want to use rough language, from the Trudeau era, who seem to see their job as putting on the appropriate outfit and reading a teleprompter with enthusiasm, like they were a motivational speaker at an airport hotel seminar. You cannot be the Minister of Industry and not care about a $15 billion deal. And that's what we're stuck with. It was extraordinary. Yeah,
that's an excellent analogy, the motivational speaker right there, because basically it's just make it palatable to the public. Details? We don't need any details.
And the people who have read the contract, no one knows who they are, aren't accountable to taxpayers. No one even knows their names, and they will never be compelled to stand there and take questions from your representative, your member of parliament, the only friend you have in this town. That's unacceptable. I don't know how these cabinet ministers thought they could get away with it. But when you now you have the deputy saying Stellantis doesn't want all those terms disclosed. Our hands are tied. Are you kidding me? Is this like the town council in Meadow Lake? $15 billion? Wow.
Okay, I cannot let today's conversation end without getting the background on this. Background I use deliberately, Tom, because, listen, the government is in the business of making announcements, showing us that in this case, it's building Canada homes, right? Those are the words on the podium that is in front of Prime Minister Mark Carney. Build Canada homes. And right behind him, it's happening, right? It was actually happening. There was a home being built in behind him.
Brutal. The Housing Department admits it was all fake. They actually faked a construction site for the Prime Minister's announcement. They spent over $32,000 on labor. They had a crew put up a fake backdrop. They had the Prime Minister tour the fake construction site. The minute the TV cameras left, they disassembled fake prefabricated homes. But, Mike, it is a metaphor because their housing targets are fake. Minimum affordability startups, $500,000 a year. They're nowhere close. They say they won't hit it in a decade.
So we spend more than $32,000 for a fake backdrop.
It looked pretty on TV, though.
It did.
Mission accomplished.
We could take a little bit out of those stock options at Brookfield. It's a small rounding error.
Honestly.
Tom, I always enjoy, I do, these conversations. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Tom Korski is the managing editor at the Blacklocks Reporter. Check it out, blacklocks.ca. I think you'll like what you find. You can pick up a subscription right there. They do work. It's the only reporter-owned and operated newsroom in the nation's capital. doing this kind of work. It's a little bit different, but boy, oh boy, do they invest. Like, they roll up their sleeves and get in, and then you can find out about the $32,000 fake construction site just to look good on a TV backdrop. And then they take it all away. But what would the announcement have been without that beautiful, albeit fake, backdrop when you're trying to promote the building of homes? Tom Korski with the Blacklocks Reporter joins us every Wednesday morning at 10 here on the Mike Farwell Show.